points race. This race is so important because Chicago is the first place you can start putting points in your pocket towards that national championship.
Here's the way they pair off. Gravedigger will take on Master of Disaster. Mad Dog will face Playing for Keeps and Jesse Berge. Stomper with Starvin' Marvin Smith against Clydesdale and Bennett Clark. Then we're going to have the owner and builder of Awesome Kong, Jeff Dane, take on the Barbarian of Jim Miller. Equalizer, your last race winner, takes on Wild Heron Bob Brain. Nightlife with Super Dave Wysoric against John Moore and the No Problem Ford. And we'll wrap it up with the Carolina Crusher of Gary Porter against Mopar Magic and the birthday boy today, Gary Wiggins. Gary's celebrating his birthday this afternoon.
Yeah, and during the driver ceremony, all the other drivers kind of wished him a happy birthday. Kind of embarrassing to this young man. He'll be coming out a little bit later, but right now, it's all serious. Chasing the national championship. This is your national points leader. This time last year, he was struggling, but now the Gravedigger has found the combination. Richard, that has to be one of the most popular trucks that runs on this circuit with us.
Dennis the Menace Anderson and Gravedigger against Doug Spanier and Master of Disaster.
Wow.
Another easy win for the Gravedigger Army.
You know, it's kind of interesting. Doug Spanier made an awfully good run. Anderson was just so smooth, so quick.
So he puts another win in his pocket. He's going to move into the quarterfinal round as we get ready next for the Mountain Man, the Gentle Giant, Jesse Berge. And Playing for Keeps, Jesse is out of Wyoming, Michigan, and he is going to be facing the Mad Dog of John I'm Bad to the Bone Brain. John out of Barnett, Missouri.
You know, it's kind of interesting in the qualifying session how it came about. Now, both of these trucks have one thing in common, that being the power source. They both rely on the Chevrolet engine, big cubic inches, 400-plus cubic inches, but neither of these trucks is supercharged, Richard, and it's kind of unique this day and time in the sport to be competitive with a non-supercharged engine. This is going to be a toss-up.
Start.
Yeah, both of them went over that first.
Whoa.
Good. Oh,
I thought we had us a major upset.
yeah, I'll tell you, this Chicago track has really put some thrills to us.
The Mad Dog and John Brain gets a win. He'll advance into the quarterfinals as we get ready next for one of the best Chevrolets in America today. We're talking about the Stomper of Starvin' Marvin Smith. Marvin out of Arnold, Missouri, a big old 468 cubic inch engine in that Stomper Chevrolet, and he's going to be taking on the Clydesdale machine of Bennett Clark. There you see Bennett coming out of the tunnel now.
Well, Bennett has a new truck, 144.5-inch wheelbase. He's still trying to get it dialed in. He'll be working the right lane or the lane closest to the camera. Meanwhile, like you say, Marvin Smith comes out. He's in his own nest. He's happy. He's been driving the same truck for so long. It really feels good for him. And what I'm looking for, because of the statute of this event and being a points race, I'm looking for Marvin Smith to lay down a rocket shot down that left side of the track, Rich.
You know, Marvin is a former drag racer, so he's accustomed to this side-by-side competition.
You know, it's also interesting, he's also a former underwater Jeep racer. We'll explain that later.
Let's get ready now as they are off and running.
Richard, what a run. Smith's coming out like a rocket. We said he would. Richard, we've got some problems. Smith's going in the wall.
He has hit the wall. Marvin Smith has hit the wall. Army is down at the end of the track. He is running over. First of all, let's make sure Starvin' Marvin Smith is okay. I see the door opening on the monster truck Chevrolet. The door opening. Marvin is out of the truck, but look at that wall. Unbelievable. Marvin Smith got the win, and then something happened to the truck. I don't know if his throttle hung up on him, if he lost his brakes, but he went through the wall, and he is down there with Army right now.
Real quick, Marvin, you're with the EMTs here. Are you okay?
I'm fine, I think.
Do you have any idea what happened?
No, for some reason I lost my brakes at the last minute. I don't know what happened.
We're glad you're okay. Sorry to see it happen, son.
Thank you very much.
Well, the good news is Marvin Smith obviously shaken up but okay, as the medical personnel is going to walk him back to the ambulance. There you see the extensive damage. Army, I know you were right down there. Could you tell exactly what happened?
No, I tell you, it looked like an awfully good run. He left the starting line good. He was in the lead. He wasn't out of shape, but at this point, right about now, he knew he was in trouble. You notice the wheels are not slowing down at all, like the brakes are not operating at all on that truck, and he came right into us.
And that is a double brick wall there at the end of the track, and you see the impact as he hit the wall. It knocked him backwards, but thank goodness Marvin Smith is okay, but it looks like the Stomper is out of competition. And if you think that was something, Wait till you see the action we've got in store right after this commercial break on ESPN. The theater, I'm Richard Leake along with Army Armstrong. And Army, I am still stunned as you see the equipment getting ready to pull off the Stomper machine as he just went through that wall.
Well, Richard, you know, on the Renegade Tour, these fellas are racers, and that's what it's all about. Now, the safety equipment is there and everything, and we're glad no one was hurt. But you speaking of accidents, there has been a lot this week.
Well, just in 2 shows ago, USA 1 also went through the wall at the end of the track. Now, one thing to keep in mind as we see the replay of Ron Litzow and his crash a few nights ago, fans were never endangered during any of these crashes, and it was because of the safety regulations put on these drivers in these trucks that both the drivers walked away unscratched.
You know, I was looking at the replay of USA 1, and what happened there was the brakes didn't work on the front of the truck. The driver wasn't aware of it until it was too late, and the reason they didn't work, he had broken an axle upon impact. That was last couple of weeks ago. Right now we come with one of the premier drivers in the sport, and we haven't seen him behind the wheel in a long time. Look who's driving Awesome Kong, Richard.
It is the owner and the builder of Awesome Kong, Jeff Dane, driving the wheel tonight out of Killeen, Texas against Jim Miller, the Barbarian. Jim is right here from Illinois.
Homestead boy trying to put away the Texan. Dane looks awfully good. You know, Dane's from a unique group of people. Names such as Everett Jasmer, Bob Chandler, and Jeff Dane, they started monster trucks.
Well, obviously, Jeff Dane has not lost his driving touch.
Is driving a monster truck kind of like riding a bicycle? Once you know how to do it, you just know how to do it.
Yeah, and I love it, too.
I know you do. We thought we'd kind of launch you to the sport, but believe me, you haven't lost a thing.
I appreciate that. I'm just going to try to get used to this truck. I'm sure you're going to see a lot better driver from now on.
Good luck to you. We'll see you in the next round.
Thank you, Army.
They're moving back into first round action. Here comes one of the bad Breen brothers. This is Bob Breen in the Wild Hair Chevrolet out of Barnett, Missouri, and he is taking on the rookie sensation, Dangerous David Morris, the equalizer out of Tennessee. David, of course, won our last event of competition.
Well, Richard Morris has already proven he's going to be a contender, a player, if you will, for this national points chase. He's currently number 2 in that points championship battle, but right now he's going up against a man that has more horsepower than he's ever had before, that being the Wild Hair of Bream. Bream is what everybody's calling the good lane. Morris is the only kid that can win out of the right lane. Let's see what's going to happen, and Morris nails him right on the starting line. Richard, we're in trouble again. We got another one heading to the big end.
David Morris heads for the wall. I don't know if he hit anything. He went out of control after getting the win over Wild Hair. I don't know if he has hit anything or not. He is out of the truck now. Army is down there with him. Let's find out exactly what happened with the equalizer.
David, you had a few exciting seconds there, but you did an awfully good job. You stayed cool. You did great.
Well, I tried to use my head. I knew the throttle hung on it. It hung wide open. And the only thing I could do, I slammed it in park, hit the kill switch on it at the same time, and it finally did stop. So I hope it didn't do any damage.
Well, it doesn't look like it did any damage, but I tell you what, that's a perfect example of good common sense. That's exactly what he used. He stayed calm, cool, and collected. This kid's going to be back another day.
Well, as a matter of fact, he'll be back to race in just a little while. No damage, it looks like, on the equalizer machine. Army, David's wife, Nancy, is topside up here with us, and when he went under the tunnel, she grabbed me, and I thought if I was a piece of steel, I would have been bent.
Richard, I was in the tunnel. You should have been with me.
Oh, boy, I'll tell you, this action is unbelievable in Chicago. As here comes John Moore, the no-problem Ford, taking on Super Dave Wysorick and the Nightlife Chevy.
You know, both of these fellas this year are really laying down some good shots. Equal wheelbase. One runs a Ford supercharged engine, one a Chevrolet. It looks like the Ford comes out first, but the Chevrolet just powers it on the other end.
Dave Wysorick, with his head hanging out the window, gets the win. He will move into the quarterfinals. John Moore with a good run, but it's not going to be good enough tonight as we get ready next for Gary Porter, Carolina Crusher, the Chevy out of Wadesboro, North Carolina, and he is going to be taking on the birthday boy, Gary Wiggins, Mopar Magic, also out of North Carolina. Army, he turned 33 today.
No, Richard, he's 87 years old.
Get out of here.
Yeah, the oldest monster truck driver on the tour right there.
Just because you're that old doesn't mean. Okay, here we go. The winner moves to the quarterfinals. It is Mopar Magic against Crusher, and on paper, Gary Porter ought to win this easily, Army.
Yeah, on paper. He's been around the sport a lot longer. The Chevrolet truck seems to be a little bit more responsive, and he's he's there. He's going to advance.
Carolina
oh, man.
Crusher.
Richard, we're getting gunshot out on this end of the track now.
If I was you, I would move out of the way because the quarterfinals are straight ahead on Power Tracks and ESPN.
This ESPN Network program is brought to you by Budweiser. Beechwood aged for that clean, crisp taste. This Bud's for you.
Nothing beats it.
Monster Truck Racing, the Renegades TNT Monster Truck Challenge. We're in the quarterfinals now. It is Dennis the Menace Anderson and Gravedigger taking on John Breen and Mad Dog. The winner moves to the semifinal round.
Well, Breen will be working the naturally aspirated or non-blown Chevrolet front engine. That's closest to the camera. Everybody knows the story of the Gravedigger. Mega horsepower in the back. Look at the driving style. Anderson advances. He just keeps getting quicker and quicker and smoother, Richard.
And I just wonder, with the Stomper going through the wall today, with the Equalizer almost going through the wall, and Dennis, with all that speed, is worried about himself going through the wall.
What goes through your mind sitting on that starting line? Now, I'm not trying to bring up anything negative, but you're running at another man's wall. These other guys have been punching holes in that walls all day long. What goes through your mind, Dennis? Does that affect your driving style at all?
Well, not really, because I leave myself. I feel like I've got enough shutdown room here, not unless we have something unusual happen, but I've got this course pretty down pat. You know, I've got me a little system down for it. I've learned the course. We've been running on it for a few days here now, so I've got it down pretty pat. I have no fear in the wall, not unless I have a failure in equipment.
Well, if you're a monster truck driver, period, you don't have any fear. As you see the wall from earlier competition, the Stomper went through that end of the wall, and he is out of the... Wait a minute, Army. I see the Stomper coming through the tunnel. He can't be running, is he?
Yeah, what they're doing, now you got to remember, this is a points race, so if he comes out and makes one more run, he's going to pick up some points, and the Chevrolet people are on their feet.
Starvin Marvin Smith went through the wall earlier in competition. He has got the front end bent out enough where he can race and get those valuable Renegade TNT points. Oh, the crowd just loves the fact that Marvin Smith, competitive edge, comes through smoking it all to face Jeff Dane and Awesome Kong. I don't believe it, sitting up topside, Army.
Boy, it's amazing. It's kind of like the Phoenix. He's coming back. Believe me, the point. He knows he's got some problems, but one more round now could really pay off when we get to the end of the year. If he can get some more points, boy, this is amazing. You can feel the electricity in the crowd. Awesome Kong says there almost nobody's even noticing him right now, and Jeff Dane is doing a super job. They're just amazing. The Stomper comes back. Dane's going to advance. And Smith,
Pieces are flying off the Stomper machine, Army. I think we ought to give him bonus points just for coming out to race.
Well, I tell you what, he and Dick Tracy got something in common. They both got a lot of nerve.
But let's not forget to give our congratulations to Jeff Dane, the owner, builder, and now driver of Awesome Kong, as he is going to move on into the semifinals. And we're moving on to see the master of disaster, Doug Spanier, face the kid that almost went through the wall last time out, Dangerous David Morris and the Equalizer Chevrolet.
We're going to see how good a monster truck driver this kid is right now. He almost went through the wall. Let's see what he's made of. Definitely the right stuff. It didn't bother him a bit. He attacked. That's an awfully close race, Richard. I can't tell.
Well, it was Dangerous David Morris and the Equalizer getting the win over Doug Spanier. So David comes back with nerves of steel.
Well, they say the best thing you can do when you fall off a horse is get right back on it and ride it, and that's exactly what you did. How did it feel to you, Dave?
Feels pretty good. I tried not to let that little incident bother me a while ago. I was ready for it this time just in case it did happen. But what happened a while ago was when I took that real hard landing, my foot buried on the throttle so hard that it bent the linkage, and where it goes through the floorboard, it would not come back up through the floorboard after it bent. And it was hung about half wide open. But I got it killed before it did any damage.
All right, so David Morris is going to be in the semifinals. Our next race has Carolina Crusher and Gary Porter taking on Super Dave Wysorek in the Nightlife Chevy. But first, you know, on this circuit, some of the guys run a short wheelbase, others run a long wheelbase. Well, earlier this afternoon, Army spent time with John Moore and Bennett Clark talking about the differences on the chassis setups.
Well, in any kind of motorsport, the chassis is one of the most important pieces of equipment. That's what holds everything together. There's a lot of different theories on chassis. One of the main theory differences is standing with me right now. That difference being the long wheelbase, like it's on the Clydesdale, and the short wheelbase, like it's on the No Problem truck. Now, we're going to ask Bennett Clark, driver of the Clydesdale, who actually has the longest monster truck wheelbase on the tour. Bennett, why such a long wheelbase?
Well, before on the Clydesdale 1, I had a 114-inch wheelbase, and there was more than once, maybe 5 or 6 times, I finished a race running on my front tires. And that's real scary when you're running looking at the dirt. So I noticed a lot of the people had a lot longer wheelbases than I did. I stretched mine out 3 or 4, 5, 8 inches longer than most of the people. And now then it seems to help a lot. The truck seems a lot stabler, but on the turning courses, the shorter trucks have a lot of advantage on me. I can't quite make quite a sharp a turn as they can.
Now, John Moore, he goes completely the opposite direction. You have to have one of the shortest wheelbases on the tour. John, why did you decide to go that way?
Well, this year on the tour, we're going to do about 50% of the races are supposed to be turning courses. I feel that on the longer straight courses, we're a little underpowered on this end, and I feel that the short wheelbase is going to give me that 50% of the course because I can out-turn almost anybody.
Well, we're back in our quarterfinal matchup here. Gary Porter, Carolina Crusher against Dave Wysork, and Nightlife ought to be a dandy of a race.
Yeah, both drivers line up. Both of them rely on a Chevrolet for horsepower. Wysork working at left side, trying to make it work, but look at the Crusher coming out, Richard. Oh, one was down, one was up. I have no idea who won that race, Richard.
That makes 2 of us. We're going to have to get a replay here. Porter and Wysork pretty even there.
Yeah, but you notice Porter was up, and Wysork caught him. He stayed on the ground. I have no idea who won.
Dave Wysork, and the Nightlife gets him by a tire thread right there at the finish line. And boy, the fans here in Chi-Town love it, as we have got semifinal action coming ahead next on Power Tracks and ESPN.
Power Tracks and the Renegades TNT.
The Renegades TNT Monster Truck Challenge now in the semifinal round, where it's going to be Dennis Anderson and Gravedigger, the hottest truck of 1989, taking on Jeff Dane and Awesome Kong, the hottest truck at the end of 1988.
Speaking of 2 theories, one of them likes to stay down and low, close to the vehicles that are going on there. The other one likes the sky. What's going to happen? Look at the difference in the trucks. The Gravedigger marches on.
Dennis Anderson moves to the championship again, but a good run by the Flying Texan, Jeff Dane and Awesome Kong. It was not to be today, so Dennis Anderson and Gravedigger is going to be going for his 4th win in 5 events of 1989.
Dennis, you're going to the final. You've been there before. You're up in a national points lead. You're on a roll. Can you keep it going?
Yeah, I think so. That's what I'm trying to do, is gain all the points I can so I can stay ahead. So just in case farther in the season we have some problems, I'm enough points ahead that I can linger back a little bit.
So who is Anderson going to face for the championship today? It'll either be Super Dave Wysork and Nightlife, or Dangerous David Morris, a rookie, in the Equalizer.
Well, this is going to be a super race, Richard. They both line up. Again, you can feel the drama in this building. Who's going to go against the Gravedigger? We're going to find out in just a moment. The kid out of Tennessee looks awfully smooth in that right lane. Wysork, he's no slouch. He's going to push him to the limit. Coming out of the left lane. Both drivers clear the turf, but look at the kid out of Tennessee. Boy, this kid is impressive.
David Morris, our last time out, won the championship. He's going to try to make it 2 in a row. There you see him acknowledging the great crowd here in Chicago. They're going to move back, get the truck ready to face the Gravedigger, and we're going to move on now to our Renegades TNT Monster Truck Challenge Question of the Week. This is an autograph session involving the monster truck drivers. It's also the subject matter of our Question of the Week, which comes from Kay Bowden of Columbus, Georgia. Kay would like to know how she and thousands of other fans can write to their favorite monster drivers. Well, TNT Motorsports is happy to be the clearinghouse for these letters to the monster truck drivers. All you have to do is send us their letter with their name on the envelope, care of TNT Motorsports, 5515 Poplar Park Boulevard, Louisville, Kentucky, 40228. We'll make sure the favorite driver of your choice gets their letter. By the way, that is also the address you send your questions of the week. And if we use one of your future questions on an ESPN broadcast, we'll send you free a TNT Motorsports hat. Well, Army, all the Monster Madness is about to come to a close as we're ready for the championship round. It is the rookie, 22 years of age, David Morris, the equalizer, going up against the veteran, 28-year-old Dennis Anderson and Gravedigger.
Richard, everybody on that starting line right now is a winner in 89. Those are your number 1 and 2 trucks in the point standings. Let's see what's going to happen. It's going to be quick. They both leave side by side. Anderson pulls out a little bit. Morris trying to come back. Anderson takes... Wow, he's dominated in Chicago.
Dennis Anderson and the Gravedigger has just won the 3rd time in 4 events of 1989, this time over the equalizer.
Dennis, 3 wins, national points leader. Boy, what a difference a year makes.
Yeah, it does. You know, we finally got everything ironed out. We got a good combination going for us now. All we have to do is just keep our combination all through the season.
What do you think about this Morris kid? He reminds me of a fighter pilot. He stays cool, and he's going to be around for a long time. And I think he's going to be a thorn in your side before the year's over, Dennis.
Yeah, he is. He's definitely tough. And these guys, they've done their homework. They've come out with a different style monster truck that seems to be working super well for them. And they started out with a smaller motor, and they keep getting the motor a little bit bigger, but he's going to be tough.
All right, thanks, Army. So really, we have 3 big stories this afternoon. Number 1, I got a souvenir brick courtesy of the Stauffer machine. Secondly, what about that rookie driver, David Morris? Maybe we should call him the Top Gun. He is proving he's got the right stuff. And finally, what can you say about Dennis Anderson and Gravedigger? 4 races. Thus far this year, he's won 3 of them. For Army Armstrong, I'm Richard Leake. We'll see you again on the tracks across America.